can tell you that the trip that I took to Ohio was absolutely phenomenal. And that was organized by Anita Rios and Bob Fitrakis. Now, I can tell you that people in Ohio have been through the ringer because of what happened in the '04 election. Now, most times when people go through the ringers, they don't know that they've been through the ringer. But the folks in Ohio know it. And so they have no confidence at all in either the Republicans or the Democrats, and they are open. I found them to be extremely open. An example, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I'm on a black radio station from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. The callers were excited about learning about the Green Party, being able to interact with the Green Party nominee. And so the radio show host decided to have an additional event at 2 o'clock, which he said, for those of you who are interested, please come at 2 o'clock and meet us at the school. When I arrived at the school, I couldn't believe it. It was standing room only. 100% black community. And so I asked them, I said, did y'all know about this before? No, they raised their hand. They had only heard about it on the radio. But they wanted to have a substantive conversation. And that is what exactly has been missing from this campaign. Substantive conversation about the problems and the challenges that face us as a country. It took me 4 days to write that acceptance speech that hopefully you all heard or saw on C-SPAN. But what I found was that when on my birthday last year, I declared independence from the national leadership that had made us complicit in all of these crimes that have been committed by the Bush administration and the Democratic majority in the Congress's willingness and readiness to go along with that and then remove accountability by taking impeachment off the table. When they did that, I felt that I had no choice but to make a public declaration of independence. But I didn't realize that I was following in the footsteps of some very strong people who 160 years ago also declared their independence from the national leadership and the politics of their day. That politics was the politics that denied women the right to vote. And so they had a meeting in Seneca Falls, New York, 260 men and 260 women and 40 men. But among those men were Frederick Douglass. Among those women was Sojourner Truth. And it took them 72 years to reach their goal, but they did reach their goal. So I am happy to report to you that I am confident that it may take us a very long time, as Dr. King said, to reach our goal, to reach the promised land, but we can take our country back. We have to believe, though, that we can take our country back. The country belongs to us. And so just as we have seen this march of powerful people expressing themselves at the ballot box, and now most recently in Paraguay, where we have a former Catholic priest is now the leader of a country, and he has vowed to take Paraguay back from the death squads and the goon squads and all of the forces that were armed and fueled by outside interests to steal whatever it was in that strategic part of the world that the outside forces wanted. But they have followed Brazil, first India, and Spain, of course, we know, through the power of the vote, they took their country back. But then in Brazil and Venezuela and Ecuador and Bolivia and Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega is back, in Haiti and in Cote d'Ivoire. People understood the value of their vote. Now, the other side understands the value of our vote because they work very hard to steal it. They understand also the value of representation. What I would say to my former constituents in the state of Georgia is that there's a difference between voting for a representative and having representation. Dr. King said that we fight so that the Negro in Mississippi has the right to vote, but so also that the Negro in New York has a reason for which to vote, and that reason is representation. Many people have labored under the illusion that they had representation because their representative looked like them, but they didn't have representation at all. And what we hope to show a whole lot of people is that representation comes through values. And the value of our vote, when it expresses our values, is powerful enough to take our country back. It's powerful enough to make revolution in other parts of the world, and it's powerful enough to make revolution right here in this country. We shouldn't be afraid of the word revolution. We shouldn't be afraid of the word radical. We shouldn't be afraid of the word militant. I'm radical for justice. In fact, my closing remark will be this. The Sunday, I didn't publicize it because I didn't want it to turn into a zoo. But the Sunday after the Green Party convention, I went to the faith community of St. Sabina, which is the church of Father Michael Flager. And there, I received a message from Father Flager that I know was tailor-made for me, but I know everybody in the congregation also thought it was tailor-made for them. But he said that it is only when people are radical that they get what they deserve. Because then they're not willing to conform, they're not willing to go along, to get along, to fit in. They are willing to step outside of a box, and they don't care how they look, they don't care the names that they're called, because they're radical in their faith that they can get what they want, what they deserve. Church needed to be radical because that church is on the south side of Chicago and they never get what they deserve. But it was only when they decided to get radical that they begin to get the services in their community that other communities take for granted. And Father Flager concluded by saying that we should never, once we understand that our role is to be radical, we must never apologize for being free, because being radical allows you to be free. I joined with Father Flager and that faith community at St. Sabina because I too have seen too many poor people sleeping on our streets. I have seen too many people digging through trash cans, trying to earn a living, to eke out a living. I have seen too much wealth in this country for there to be the kind of poverty that was shown to the world in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. There is too much injustice, and I'm impatient. I'm hungry for justice, and I don't mind being radical. And thank you, Green Party, for allowing me to be radical and free.